Some dreams start on paper, some start on spreadsheets, and some they start with a wild idea. The kind that makes people look at you and say, "Wait, are you serious?" But what happens when that wild idea turns into a movement? A shift, a ripple, a legacy? Today's guest isn't just talking about wellness, he built an entire ecosystem around it. From media to mindset, from boardrooms to spiritual paths, he's one of those rare people who can talk about numbers and nirvana in the same sentence. Welcome to Unapologetic Me, the space where stories don't just inspire, they make you question how boldly you're showing up for yourself. I'm so excited to sit down with someone whose journey spans media, entrepreneurship, and wellness in the truest sense. Let's dive into the story of a man who dared to bring sannyas to the city and made wellness not just a conversation, but a revolution. But what
Hmm.
really makes his story unforgettable is the way he's bridged the worlds of business and spirit. He's
Hmm.
not just built companies, he's built movements. In 2021, he ventured into the spiritual path with a dream of bringing the sannyas mindset into bustling urban centers worldwide. This is going to be a conversation about building, breaking, believing, and boldly following your inner compass. Adarsh, I'm so excited. We've finally got some time on your calendar and we're able to record it.
Absolutely looking forward to it, Ekta, as always.
All right, so here we go. Adarsh, if I had to take you back to the very beginning, the version of you that first dreamed big, what was the spark like? What drew you to building the wellness space before it actually became cool?
I still remember I was in the music and entertainment business, and that's where my heart was at that time when I was in that business and having an absolute ball. I spent about, I think, 8 to 10 years in that category, and it was towards the end of my stint in the music business that health and fitness had become a very big part of my life. And I could actually see, given the hectic schedule, the kind of hectic, manic lifestyle one was leading, living between four cities in a week and all that, was really taking its toll on me. And at that point, there was an inner, voice that spoke to me and said, "Hey, wake up, and it's time for you to, take charge of your own self as much as you're taking charge of the roles that you're playing." And so it was at that time that I really got into health and wellness, like lock, stock, and barrel, into it. And having been, an active enthusiast in that space, and having tried everything and dabbled with a lot of things, I started creating my own intuitive regimes when it came to movement, nutrition, and also spirituality. And so, it was doing so much good to me that it dawned on me that, look, uh, if this is what can happen when you embrace this entire space from your heart, uh, it's life altering. And so I said, I have to take it out to as many people as possible. Now, back in 2014, when I was thinking of this entire idea, or let me call it my grand vision, it was my grand vision to make health and wellness enter into as many homes as possible. That was the vision. And so, with that vision, I set course with no clear agenda. I did not know how I will make it happen. I did not know what will happen that will actually make that happen. All I knew was I wanted to get fitness and wellness into as many homes as possible. And as luck would have it, once I had completely decided that that was the path I was going to take, one miracle after the other just kept happening, one after the other. And before we knew, we were a going concern, and we had landed India's first ever health and wellness channel on India's largest DTH platform at that time, which was Tata Sky. Uh, Even when Tata Sky launched health and fitness, they were not sure as to what is the kind of mass appeal this genre has. They were all entertainment people. They all believed in movies and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
that audiences love. But when I was forcing this agenda, and there were people who on the other side who were also saying, yeah, there could be something in it, but let's see what happens. So when we finally entered market in October of 2015, and the marketing campaign happened, and we launched to the market, to our not to my surprise, but to their surprise, They were completely blown out by the overwhelming response that India gave to the launch of this channel, because
Wow.
the numbers of people that subscribed to it was absolutely unimaginable. And the rest is history. That was our start, and
Yeah.
we were on the road.
Yeah. Wow. This is, I mean, I think all it takes is someone to have that vision. And like you said, that you figured out early on that now was the time to start moving into that space. And then the response was phenomenal. So
Correct.
to pick that pearls early on is what a chef's kiss. Um, Tell us, you've built your career at the intersection of media and wellness, two very different worlds. And you've just explained how the story of wellness began, but is there also something that we've missed in that story by far that you would want to cover here?
Yeah, though the story is very interesting because it's a non-conformative story. I'm a
Okay. You tell me.
non-conformist at heart, which means that I don't believe in conformity. I don't believe in ladders that most people think are the ladders that need to be climbed. I believe in listening to my inner voice at whichever time or stage in my life I am at, and following my voice and my inner calling at that time, which means that it can be totally incongruent at times. It
Hmm.
can be
Wow.
unimaginably different at times. And that's the beauty of living. Do your shit as and when it comes to you, the way it comes to you, in a completely fair, free, and open way, without worrying about what the world's going to say about it.
I already had created a video before we started recording saying that there are going to be so many different layers of Adarsh Gupta that one is going to find here, the
Mm.
corporate, entrepreneurial, inspired living, and everything. And I'm so glad each and every your
Layers coming
answers
up.
are tilting towards different
Correct.
segments altogether.
Correct.
While you're sharing all of this, was there ever a moment early on you thought this might not work, but you still kept going anyway?
Look, so the way I've lived my life so far is, and a lot of this came in reflective introspection, which means backward introspection about how
Yeah.
things panned out in my life. There was always a grand vision at different times. There's a big difference between a grand vision and a goal. A goal is short term. It's more material driven. It's more conditioning driven.
Hmm.
A vision is what your soul's leaning is towards. That means
Hmm.
what is it your inner calling that matters to you at that point is what you're listening to and you're going after. That is your vision. A goal is I want to become the I want to get a promotion. I want to get more money. I want to get that house. That's a goal. My grand missions or visions have changed from time to time, and they are essentially my soul mind led visions, right? So that's how it's sort of yeah. So the most critical aspect of how I think these things have actually managed to manifest in exactly the way I had wanted them to. The secret was that I had the vision
Hmm.
without expectation, which means that I knew that I wanted to bring that vision to life, but I was not expecting that, oh, I want to build up $100 million business, or I want to build a $10 million business, or I want someone to come and fund it. There was
Hmm.
no expectation in the course of that journey towards my vision, which
Hmm.
means that when you are not expecting, you are never disappointed with anything that's happening. You take it as it comes.
Which
You
is
take
lovely,
each.
but I'm also gonna ask you. It's very, how do I say it? It's it's easier to fathom that you didn't want to cap it anywhere or put a pressure, and you just wanted to go with the flow and see where it takes. But you feel like sometimes one needs to have some clarity, like a ballpark or some number attached to it. As in, how do you want to drive it?
Yeah, so look, that's what I'm saying. All of that, those are realities and do come into play or come into the picture at various times. But the way they come into the picture is you start your day today. If that's what's the agenda, that's what turns out to be the agenda as it rolls through the day, then so
Yeah.
be it. You address it, which means that you're going with the flow, intuitively following what's coming to you naturally as the next step. And if naturally as the next step, what follows is maybe I need to put a few numbers to see where this can go or how to financially model this, then that is the next step, and it gets dealt with in a very easy flow kind of situation.
Hmm.
There is no forecast, there is no killing oneself to go and get that forecast. Nothing like that. It is an expectation less, forecast
Yeah.
less
Forecast.
way of being, and that's a very different one. And I've always lived by that rule. I don't give a damn about what people say. I believe in enjoying the journey more than, creating the cars.
This is very inspiring. Let's talk about your climb, leading Times Music and Entertainment, and then setting up a wellness division at the HMV Saregama. These are massive
Also at times, I set up the health and wellness division 4 times as well. And
for
then
Times as well.
yeah, and then I was
For
heading the
Times as
music
well.
business for, and then I was heading the music business for HMV. And under that, in that position, I was running the music business, but I also set up the wellness business for HMV.
So both of these are massive milestones. How did you convince an industry to take wellness seriously at scale?
So fortunately, I was at the helm of both these companies when I was in those positions, and when you're in those positions, you
You've
can
answered it already.
you can you can do things a bit to the left and right without being questioned too much. So I
Yeah.
managed my way. Yeah, and importantly, all of that was, like I said, I was enjoying the journey in music, but this new bug had entered my mind. It had entered my being that I wanted health and wellness to be omnipresent. I wanted everybody to sort of be bitten by that bug. So whatever I could do to make that happen was happening naturally in any position. It did not matter. I mean, times happened to be that window of work I was doing at that
Yeah.
time. It happened there. HMV Saregama happened to be the window of work I was doing at that time. It happened there. And most importantly, in 2015, when I took the plunge and started my own venture, then there was no holds barred. I mean, we just went for it.
Perfect. Adarsh, we've seen media is noisy, and you talk about wellness, which is quiet, but you merge them seamlessly. So, what was your secret sauce?
Look, media is noisy and fun, and there was a phase in my life when that is what I craved. I enjoyed. I liked going out to launches at 12 at night, coming back at 4 in the morning. I liked hobnobbing with the who's who of the music industry, of the film industry. That was life, and that's what I
I'm
wanted at
loving
that
the
time.
whole element of your
Yeah,
personality here.
yeah. So that is what I was thriving in that environment. There was never a moment to look back and say, oh, why am I not meditating, or why should I, there was nothing like that. I was truly and purely in the moment, having a ball doing what I was doing. And like I said, when I the other side started hitting me, it crept into my life in that manic lifestyle that I was
Yeah.
leading, and it became my life as I moved along, because I enjoy this so much more now than that. If someone tells me go
Wow.
to a nightclub at 4, yeah, and be there till 4 in the morning, that might not excite me so much today. I might still go, but it might not excite me so much today as if someone told me, can we meditate for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, or can we try this new form of meditation? I prefer that.
Very interesting. Looking back, what was the toughest part of turning wellness into an OTT category that lives on platforms like Disney Star and Jio TV?
So our venture essentially is called Brilliant Wellness, and we are the largest media company in the health and wellness genre, with 24/7 television channels on platforms like Tata Sky, Dish TV, D2H. We have in the past powered the entire health and wellness genre for platforms like OTT platforms like Disney Plus Hotstar, for Sony LIV, for NDTV Hop, for Jio Cinema. We are currently in the process of launching our first bundled pack on Jio TV, which is now in 20 million homes across the country. So it'll be bundled along with the likes of Netflix and Watch Wellness, which is our application, will be one of the 10 OTT apps that will be bundled together and going to 20 million people on Geo set-top boxes. It's going to be a part of the OTT Play bundle. We are already on Fast Channel, which means that if you have a LG TV at home, LG TV has its own structure of bringing television to you. It's called Fast. So you'll find our channel there. So we are practically on every major platform that there is in the
Everywhere.
country. Yeah, correct.
So
That's
now I'm going to pull up my question. What was the toughest part, if you think about it right now, of bringing wellness to OTT?
look. Typically the way the media and entertainment industry works is that like any other industry, they go for, in the priority matrix, they go for the low hanging fruits first.
Okay.
So entertainment is always the first point of call for any new big initiative in the industry. But there's a phase when people get tired of just entertainment and they
Yeah.
want more.
Yeah.
So we are at the first second layer of what people want. The
Okay.
moment they are satiated up to here with too many originals and movies and all the rest of it, then the mind says, give me some little, I want a little peace. I want to
Yeah.
do a guided meditation. I might want to do a guided yoga session. I might want to get some advice on nutrition. I might want to delve into Ayurveda and see what that can do to me. So once you're completely full up, those are the kind of things that come to you naturally, and that's when we come in and we sort of get into the groove.
Perfect. We're going to touch upon the shift aspect of your career now. At the peak of your career, you made a move that most people would probably call brave. You chose to step into the spiritual world. What was the trigger?
Right. So I have been a keen spiritualist for many, many years, and the bug first got me not 4 years back or 5 years back. The bug first got me almost about 20 years back. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. There was something in me that there's a very curious side in me. I'm always curious to know not so much about what's happening in the ways of the world, but
Hmm.
what's happening in the ways of human life. Uh,
Okay.
that is the natural curiosity to understand what's happening in the ways of how life evolves and before life, after life. Those big questions that everybody has somewhere hidden somewhere at the back of the mind. They came to the fore of my mind
Okay.
many, many years ago. And as luck would have it, I was working with the Times of India at that point, and I was working closely with uh, the owner, a gentleman called Mr. Samir Jain, who was big into spirituality. And as a function of him being so big into that space, was fortunate to meet all the luminaries in the spiritual domain at that point, which included Sri Ravi Shankar, Jagi Vasudev, all the big names that they were. And so I got quite nicely inducted into the space, given the
Hmm.
company I was keeping. And now, once you jump into this field, it is such an enormous and such an exciting and such a interesting space that you have to get drawn into it. There is no choice. Because that is the reality. What you
Hmm.
see as the glimmer and the glitter and the bells and the whistles in the world of illusion are illusionary things. That is the reality of what the spirit that we are, how we come to earth, and what we do here, and what happens after we go. So those were the kind of questions that kind of got me into the groove. And then it was a journey that kept me curious all the time. I wanted to know more, I wanted to understand more, and that hunger just kept me pushed me along, and up to a point where uh, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I was deep into the reading of Osho, and I'd read a lot of his stuff. And there was this one morning I woke up at 5 in the morning with a lucid dream. A lucid dream is one where your eyes are shut, but you're fully aware. You're fully aware of what's happening. And
Okay.
Came and spoke to me in a lucid dream and said, "You have to take the sannyas mindset to the city world." That was a lucid dream at 5 in the morning
Oh
about
my
five
God.
years ago. Now that happened, and I was shocked. I said, "Look, how do I take this sannyas in the city concept to people across the world? How do I do it?" So then again, the mind starts sticking, and you get into that intuitive mode, and then I said, "Okay, the first thing we need to do is put a book together." Now,
Hmm.
I was a management guy. I was not a writer. I had no skill to write, but I did have a skill to manage. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage to put a team together to to
Perfect.
bring this to life. And so yeah, we put a beautiful team together of the four of us came together. There was a luminary from the fitness world called Mr. Mickey Mehta. There's a good friend of mine called Neha Sareen, and also another good friend called Shikha Mehra. All of us came together and we had a ball, an absolute blast, writing the most profound piece of work that I think I will do in this birth. Maybe there's maybe another book in me, but until now, this is the most profound book.
Okay. Well, at
This
least
is
I'm feeling good. If you choose to write another book, this is the place where you just kind of mentioned, so I'm
That's
glad.
correct. Yeah, correct. So yeah, so then it was history. We had a ball. We've put down some very interesting stuff, and we really think it'll move the meter with people who end up reading it.
Okay, perfect. We're going to touch upon the concept of sannyas in the city vision.
Hmm.
It's poetic, obviously, right?
Hmm.
But also deeply practical. How do you see it transforming urban spaces?
So, sannyas in the city is conceived to be an urban revolution that eventually builds serious scale with a view to helping people who are currently
Hmm.
all on in a rat race trying to go
Yeah.
after what is called material is god as their way to live.
Hmm.
Material is god is their way to live, which means that the moment material is god and that you make your way to live, you are going to have accidents at your physical level, mental level, emotional level, and your spiritual level without a question.
Hmm.
Because when you're chasing money and more money and more money, you will have accidents. There's no question because you're chasing the wrong thing
Yeah.
fundamentally.
Yeah.
So the idea is to create a mission where we can shine the light on the truth of how stupid it is to actually be on that mission to chase material. What you need to be on a mission of is not chasing material, but chasing your inner true leanings.
Hmm.
Your true inner leanings is what needs to become your mission. And when you go inward and you start doing things that come to you from the inside, one of the first things that hits you is that everything that you do has to be inspired by what you love. Because
Hmm.
when you go inside and you start asking yourself, what should I do that will make me really happy from the inside, you have to love it to be happy.
Yeah.
You can't go after anything unless you love
This
it,
is so good.
so
This is so good. And the reason I'm getting excited because this is exactly what you spoke about on today's reel also. And I think not many people spend enough time, forget about enough time, not many people spend time thinking what they love. And
correct.
then let alone, everyone just chases, like you said, materialistic goals. The career which makes more money, the career which is acceptable, which are the most relatable, where everyone's going and where economy is moving, things like that, instead of focusing on themselves and finding what they feel most charged about.
Correct. Exactly. That's the whole fundamental problem that majority of our people are hit with.
Yeah.
And the idea is that landscape needs to change because the world will be a beautiful place to live if there was a little subtle shift that everybody could be shown the mirror to, which was that, look, don't chase this stupid material god. Chase what you love doing, and you will make far more material in doing that than chasing money. That's the irony.
And
Because
this
I
is so
don't say,
trans.
look, I don't say money is bad. I love money. I love, I completely love love the fact that one
Same.
needs to have money, and it's completely right. You want to live, enjoy life. You don't want to like cringe at any point. You want to be able to do what you
Yeah.
want to do, but it should be a function of what you love doing. Now imagine I make money killing myself, not liking what I'm doing, hating what I'm doing, yet I'm making money. Will I have the happiness inside of me to be able to really enjoy that money? I won't, because I'll be a burnt out person. I'll be feeling miserable about the
Yeah.
way I'm leading my life to make that money. I'd rather make that money doing what I love doing, and then money is a function of it. And like I said, when you do that, you'll be surprised at the law of synchronicity and how magically the world conspires to give you more money.
These are such golden words, AG. And whoever's going to watch, let me also tell you that when I came back to India, I've had those whatever little evening walks and whatever 5 minutes of the time that you've spent with me, which was the time when I was trying to figure out should I go for a job, what role, and then when we had this talk for a very brief while, I think that's where the idea seeded in my head that
Hmm.
figure out what you really enjoy and then you'll eventually lead to ways of making money and then seeing how things work. I've been really happy doing whatever that I'm doing. So I'm sure many people will find ways. And everybody has to go watch out and at least subscribe to the Instagram account of Sanyas in the City to hear
Absolutely.
more from others and
Yes.
everything that the brand talks about, which is inspired living, mindful living. Um, but on that note, tell me something. Many dream of taking that leap, but they also fear stability. So, how did you navigate that fear, and what do you have to say about people who want to, but they're kind of scared?
Yeah, so I think there's a practical point that you raised, and what's very important is you don't need to do anything stupid. Uh,
Hmm.
you need to still put the food on the table and still need to pay the rent, etc. So whatever you do it in a systematic and organized way, which means that if if you're not happy with what you're doing currently, it clearly is not something that's coming to you from the inside. First, come to terms with the fact that this is not working for me.
Hmm.
Because once you decide that this is not working for you, is when you really decide to take or create an alternate path or a parallel path. Carry on doing what you're doing despite not liking it, because that's putting the money on the table or the food on the table, and
Hmm.
start a parallel track on the journey of what is coming to you intuitively, naturally from the inside. That's the stuff that you want to do. Start it in parallel. Keep chipping away at it with full honesty, and every single day, chip, and you'll find that there will be a day when this parallel track becomes so powerful in your life that and you can see it turning into monetization, etc., that you will not need this left track that you once had, which was making you
Yeah.
miserable with the money. So that parallel track, that other track that you started, then clearly will tell you that, boss, what was I doing all these years? I was so stupid. This is where
Yeah.
I want to be. This is where I love doing what I do. I thrive. I'm happy, and I'm making money.
Yeah.
So that's the
It's
track you end
also
up taking.
so, I think a lot of times and in a lot of videos, people say about making a transition, nobody talks about in such an organized and systematic way. Because
Correct.
how people look at making a transition is you have to switch this to start this. And that's where the question comes, but how am I going to make my house survive? Because I need to put food
Correct.
at the table, like you said. But so this is how you move. And this is what Sanas in the City is all about.
That's correct.
Again,
Yes.
shout out.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the lessons, AG. How has your definition of success evolved over the years? This, I think, is my favorite segment.
Yeah. So, look, success for me ceases to be material anymore.
Hmm.
Success for me is happiness and peace. Uh, the more happy I feel, the more peaceful I feel, the more successful I feel. So the whole criteria of what success is has changed for me, and eventually, people, a lot of people sort of get this realization dawns on them, but it dawns a little later in life. For me, it happened a lot earlier. So, so yeah. So my criteria for success is happiness and peace and
Very
bliss.
nice. Um, we spoke about your 4 a.m. Club sessions, that part of life, and now being getting really excited about trying meditation or just sitting with your friends talking about inspired living. So, with respect to that, what role does stillness play in the life of someone who's built at scale?
Uh, so stillness is the point you brought up, and
Yeah.
stillness is actually your doorway to everything creative, everything magical, everything mystical that there is waiting to be had. It is in the stillness. Look, when as long as you're caught up in high beta brain waves of activity, right?
Yeah.
You are going to be operating within the corridors of what you know,
Hmm.
right? The moment you still your mind and
Hmm.
you let your brain completely settle down and there's nothing in your mind,
Hmm.
is the time to create. You create out of nothing. Whenever something new gets done, it is created out of nothing. It is not created out of, so it is the moments of stillness that are the most opportune moments. And most of us run away from those still moments because we're not used to. We want people around us. We want fun, activity,
Because we're so
buzz.
scared.
Yeah.
We've not experienced that stillness and we kind of get very restless with it.
Yeah. So make friends with stillness if you really want to grow in life.
Okay, tell us what's one misconception about wellness that you wish more people would unlearn?
Wellness, the biggest misconception to my mind is people wanting to uh, pound crazy amounts of weight to build that bulge around their muscle. And when people call that wellness, I find that really funny, because to me, wellness really is a very, very holistic term. Wellness to me is mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. You have all these four departments that you need to work on every day, all four departments every day, in order for you to actually witness the true benefits and the miraculous nature of wellness. It's all four departments need work every day. You need to water them every day.
AJ, if we look ahead 10 years, what's the world you hope to build through your work?
My grand vision at the moment, like I said, the vision has kept changing, the goalpost has changed, but it's not goalpost, the material goals. It
Yeah.
is grand vision goalposts. So my current grand vision goalpost is to see sannyas in the city centers across major centers, cities in the world, all the way from New York to LA to SF to London to Paris to Bangalore to Mumbai to Delhi. I want these centers coming up everywhere, and us being able to make a massive difference to a massive number of people so that they can start living a more inner nature aligned life rather than being stupid and chasing what they
Materialistic.
will find not so satisfying in time, guaranteed.
Amen to that.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've lived and built unapologetically. But if I ask you, what does unapologetic living mean to you?
That you should be beyond anyone being able to do, anyone being able to affect you in any way, form, or shape. State where you don't give a damn about what who says about what you want to do, and you're so happy and peaceful with what you're doing that you just enjoy your journey. You don't care
Wow.
about what the world
Yeah.
thinks.
And I think to get to that state is the whole journey, to get to
Yeah.
that level. Okay, what's the one story from your journey you hope people remember?
Uh, Look, the only one most important point that I would want people to remember from my story is that we have been able to coin a very interesting term uh, in this journey of creating the Sannyas in the City movement, and that term is soul mind.
So mine.
Yeah, and so I would want as many people in this world to start thinking not from the mind of their body, which is what is based on impressions, but the soul mind, which is inspired by your true nature of your soul, which is love. And so if love inspires everything you do, you'll do good, you'll be good, and you will create a world around you that is super good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next segment is a rapid fire. So tell
Hmm.
me, one word that defines this chapter of your life.
uh, Having a blast.
Okay. What's the one thing you no longer apologize for?
What people might think I've done wrong.
Okay. Very witty. A
Hmm.
lesson life taught you the hard way.
uh, don't be stupid and so crazy in trusting people, because I've got taken in quite badly on a lot of instances because I trust. Anybody who comes into my life, I first just 100% trust until I'm proven wrong. And that might not be the best way to.
Hmm. I think I have an answer to this one, but I'm still going to ask. Tea, coffee, or meditation?
Well, actually that's a tough one, you know.
Really?
I love my tea. I equally love my coffee,
Okay.
and beyond both of them, I love my meditation. So if
All right,
that
so we have
answers
an
the
answer.
question, yeah.
Okay, if wellness had a soundtrack, what would your anthem be?
Look, my current soundtrack for wellness is uh, Western classical music. I'm totally into Bach, Mozart, Schubert, and such like people. So that's my current definition of music that comes to
Okay.
mind when you think wellness.
Okay, we've come towards the very last segment. AG, this show is called Unapologetic Me for a reason.
Yeah.
It's about showing up in your fullest truth, owning your story, and daring to live it out loud. And you are completely an example of it. So, my final question to you is, if the world could hear just one unapologetic truth from you, the kind that shakes you to the core, what would it be?
Uh, I mean, the most important truth that shakes me to the core is, have you heard these three words called Sat, Chit, Anand?
Mm-hmm.
Sat means Satya, which means be truthful to yourself, which means don't be foolish, and don't live your life basis what people think the life you should live. That is
Okay.
Satya. Be
Okay.
truthful to yourself. Chit is consciousness.
Okay.
Understand that consciousness is not the five sensory consciousness that the world tells us is your world that you live in. Real consciousness is one step above this, and that's called soul mind consciousness. And
Okay.
when you live a truthful life with the hat of your soul mind, the third aspect of Anand, which is bliss, kicks in. So you live your life blissfully because you're being truthful and you're living from your soul mind. So
So
Sat Chit
profound.
Anand.
I've had a blast recording this episode with you, and I have made so many mental notes. And I'm sure a
Hmm.
lot of the people who are going to be watching, listening to this, are also going to find so much depth in each and every point that we covered. Um, what are your thoughts?
Look, I am fired from my gut. Like I said, I've been truly unapologetic, unabashed, and absolutely truthful in what I've said. If it makes a difference to anyone's life, I will be the happiest person.
All right, perfect. Well, that was Adarsh Gupta. A reminder that boldness isn't just in boardrooms, it's in listening to one's soul and having the courage to follow it. If this conversation made you pause, smile, or rethink your definition of power, then it's done its job. Because unapologetic stories don't just inspire, they unleash. Until next time, keep owning your voice, keep living unapologetically. That's all from us.
Thank you.